Bonjour. So this video is for people who would like to learn French by themselves. You can learn French by yourself. You just have to be very disciplined and have a proper structure. Then you will be able to learn and speak French by yourself. I wrote everything on my computer, so I am going to be looking at my computer frequently. The first thing I would advise anyone to learn if they are trying to learn French by themselves is the sound system. Week 1, the sound system. E, C, C, D, on, a. How does the sound system work in French? Okay, you learn it together with the alphabet, la liaison, on, all those nasal sound, vowel combination, consonant combinations. This is what I would advise you to learn in week 1. In the next phase, you can learn greetings. Greetings, introduction, self-introduction, se présenter. Je m'appelle, my name is, j'ai, how old are you, nationality, profession, all of that. The next thing I would advise you to learn is numbers from 0 to 100, the days of the week, the months of the year, how to say the date, how to tell the time, how to share your phone number, anything around numbers from 0 to 100. You can start from 0 to 10, 0 à 10, 0 à 20, 0 to 20, 0 à 30, 0 to 30, but make sure you reach 100, 0 à 100, okay? That will help you understand how numbers work in French. Once you learn 0 to 20 properly, other numbers become easier, because I think 0 to 20 in French is the base, is the foundation for learning numbers in French. The next thing I would advise you to learn is les formules de politesse, politeness formulas like s'il vous plaît, please, merci, thank you, excusez-moi, excuse me, pardon, pardon, or sorry. There are many others. That is the next thing I would advise you to learn. And the next one is grammar. You cannot be good in French. You cannot have a good foundation in French if you don't know how the grammar works in French. The first thing in grammar that I would advise you to learn is the gender. Gender and articles. Le, la, les, un, une, des, and the ending patterns. How does a word that is feminine and how does a word that is masculin, pluriel, masculine and plural? And for example, the next thing is the subject pronouns. Learn the subject pronouns. You cannot speak French without the subject pronouns. And after learning the subject pronouns, you need to learn these three verbs that are very essential. There are so many other verbs that you would learn, but I would advise you to learn these three verbs first, which are être, to be, avoir, to have, s'appeler, to be called. Être and avoir are very important. Être et avoir are very important because apart from being verbs, they are also auxiliaries and they are used almost every time. I would say every single time when speaking French. Être, avoir, s'appeler. After learning that, make sure you learn the verbs du premier groupe, les verbes du premier groupe. Those are the first group of verbs in French. In French, we have three groups. Premier groupe, first group, deuxième groupe, second group, troisième groupe, third group. And each of them have a way of conjugation. Each of them have a way they are supposed to be used. But as a beginner, I would advise you to learn first the ones of the first group, les verbes du premier groupe. And I forgot to add this, not just learn the verbs du premier groupe, but learn how to conjugate them in the present tense. Because as a beginner, what you'll be using most is the present tense. So learn how to conjugate them in the present tense. The next thing is, after learning all of that, I would advise you to learn how to conjugate more verbs, which are aller, faire, venir, prendre. These verbs are regularly used in French, and as a beginner, these verbs are definitely going to show up in your textbooks when you're talking to people. Aller, to go, faire, to do, venir, to come, prendre, to take. Okay? Next, you should learn negation in French. How are negations formed? And that is with ne et pas. Ne pas, ne jamais. There are many ways to learn negation, but as a beginner, I would advise you to stick to just ne pas. When you are learning this, you will understand what ne pas is. The next thing you should learn as a beginner is how to ask questions in French. How to ask simple questions with est-ce que. Est-ce que. Est-ce que is a question word that is used or can be used with almost all the sentences in French. The next thing I would advise you to learn is the basic things you should learn as a beginner if you want to move from zero to beginner level in French. In the description, I'm going to be putting a link to a document where you have all the things that you need to learn from zero to A1 level, and it's completely free. You don't need any emails to download it. You can just go access it and then you would download it for free. The next thing I would advise you to learn is everyday situations. How do you speak when you go to the supermarket, to the grocery store, to the market? How do you speak when you go to a restaurant? How do you speak in French when you go to a doctor's place, the doctor, for example? How do you speak when you are hanging out with friends? How do you speak when you are in your kitchen, when you are just speaking to a friend? Learning everyday situations would help you learn the vocabulary faster because this is something that you do on a regular basis. The steps you take when you want to make a coffee, or when you want to go to the bathroom, or when you want to have a bath, or when you're about to sleep, or when you're taking breakfast, or when you want to order something online, or you want to make a complaint to the police. Everyday situations are going to help you practice your French regularly. And lastly, what I would say that you should learn is le futur proche. So after learning le présent simple, those are the verbs of the first group in the present tense, I would advise you to also learn those same verbs in le futur proche, that is in the near future, and au passé composé, in the past tense. After learning the present tense, it's important to learn it in the future tense and in the past tense. D'accord? One thing I would say that you shouldn't do at the beginner's level is learning complicated tenses like le subjonctif, passé simple, imparfait. Those tenses are a bit complicated for a beginner. Don't try to impress other people, your teacher or the learners. Keep it as simple as possible. Work or learn vocabulary that is simple and that you can use every day. That way you will be able to learn faster and you'll be able to learn in a more steady, step-by-step way. Don't forget to download the document if you would like these whole points in a sheet and it could help you. And also I have a course for people who would like to learn by themselves, and it follows this pattern. You have everything you need from 0 to A1 level, from 0 to beginner's level, and the course doesn't only give you detailed lessons, but helps you to practice everyday situations, regular situations. And you have a teacher, a real teacher that checks your assignment and gives you real feedback on how to improve. You can also find the link to the course in the description. At the moment of filming this video, the course is at 60% discount. So you can get it now. Before the end of the year, it's going to go back to its normal price. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know and feel free to subscribe if this was helpful to you. Hey, bonjour!